Hey besties, welcome to Get Fit in Your 40s, where we get real about our own journeys and how we have helped thousands of women figure out why what worked in their 20s isn't cutting it anymore.
We are your hosts, Dookie and Kausar, your fitness BFFs, here to help you navigate losing weight and getting healthier in your 40s and beyond. Let's get into it.
Welcome to another episode of Get Fit in Your 40s. I'm your host, Dookie, and today we have a very special guest. We have Theresa. She's our client, she's our bestie, and she came today to tell you all about her health journey. She has lost 21 pounds in 5 months, and we want the whole gossip. But first, let me introduce you to her formally. Theresa is a finance professional with over 20 years of experience, turned entrepreneur. She's the founder of the Motherhood Upgraded blog. Most importantly, she's Chief Mommy Officer to a beautiful daughter and son. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This is so exciting. So you are the first client we have in the podcast.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no pressure.
You're going to do great. In the biography that you sent me, you don't mention that you have a YouTube channel. So she's a little bit experienced with the camera. I have seen some of the shots on her YouTube. So her channel is growing. She just started. So I'm going to actually put the link so you can follow her there too. But so you're perfect for this episode.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so let's just start by learning more about your journey. All the tea, all the gossip about how it's going from feeling hopeless to, oh my God, I made it and I didn't even think I could do it. Walk me through the whole journey.
So I think all throughout my life, I wouldn't describe myself as being naturally skinny, although I don't know, what is the definition of naturally skinny? I don't know. But I do remember in my 20s, occasionally kind of crash dieting. But in retrospect, I was like, you didn't do any research, you didn't have a plan, and you didn't have a goal. So I don't know what I was thinking. But I just remember I went through these phases. I would just only eat leafy salads, and then I would do these really intense workouts. I don't know if you remember like P90X, those like really big like Beachbody TV, these really hardcore hits, plyometric. But I didn't do weights. I don't know what I was thinking. And I just found it was really hard on my body. And then I'd maybe be okay for a month or two and the weight would come off, and then I would injure myself or like something would happen. And then I would get derailed, get off the bandwagon. And then my weight would balloon back and I would gain back any weight that I had lost. And then some. It was like a yo-yo, like up and down. But it was more like I had 2 kids. They were 2.5 years apart. And when I had my second child, we had just we're going through a global pandemic. I wasn't working out. We had just opened our family business and COVID hit. So there was a lot of just like stress eating.
Yeah, definitely. I remember those times. I think none of us had the coping mechanisms for everything that was happening.
Yeah, because like you were locked at home. So what are you going to do? Like just snack?
Yeah, for me it was drinking wine every single day. And of course, overeating for sure.
And of course, I had a toddler and I had a newborn. And then I had a third newborn because that was the business. So you just, as a mom, put yourself last. And I found the years creeped up on me and I turned 40 this year. So that was like a big milestone for me. And then my friends started joking. They're like, welcome to middle-aged. And I'm like, I'm not middle-aged. My kids are babies. They need me. I ought to be here for the long haul. And I had my annual physical and the doctor weighed me and he was like, yeah, your BMI is starting to creep up into the unhealthy zone. And she was like, I'm not worried, but you may want to consider you do have a family history of diabetes and heart disease. You may want to consider if you want to make some lifestyle changes to see what we can do with that. The turning 40, the kind of BMI red flag at my annual physical was the kicker when I was like, okay, I gotta do something about it. And I had never really I'd never tried to count calories or diet before. I'd gone on like weird crash diets and worked out really hard, but I never actually really tried to lose the weight before. And I honestly thought I couldn't. Like, I just thought it's over. Like, I've had 2 kids. This is my new normal. This is how my body is supposed to look like. And the only way I can lose weight is to do something really drastic, get a tummy tuck or something. And I'm like, I don't really want it. I don't really want to do surgery. So you're asking like, what challenges I face? Like, I just thought I couldn't do it. Like, I just didn't even try.
Wow. So you consider actually getting surgery?
I thought surgery was my only option.
Really?
Like, I just didn't think I could do it.
because we didn't have the tools. And I think going back to your point, when you were doing these crash dietings, we thought exercising was working out and sweating a lot, right?
Yeah.
I remember I did those workouts. I don't know if it was Beachbody, this big guy, super strong, just making me sweat in front of the TV. I remember those too. I did it too. And just eating healthy is just eating leafy greens.
Yes.
So that is not sustainable because as you said, you get injured, you get tired, and then you're just like, should I come back? If I stop working out, I have to start again.
I was just painful. I just gave up. Like, forget it. I can't do it.
So when you went to the doctor, what's your aha moment?
I just didn't. I don't think my BMI was obese, but it was getting into overweight. And I was like, oh, I'm not like a big person. Like, you know, like I'm not tall. Like I don't have a big frame. And I'm like, I don't feel overweight. Like I don't identify as overweight. But I knew that the weight was gaining in my midsection. And I'd read like, that's really not healthy for, you know, your heart health. And like I have a long history of diabetes in my family. So I was, like middle age is now or around the corner. And
you have 2 kids. So it's about not only about the physical appearance. And I think that is like what our besties in the program have more in common. It's not even about having a bikini body anymore. It's not about being skinny. It's about being there for our kids.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, you're turning 40 this year. If you don't try and do something when you're 40, when am I going to do it? When I'm 50, when I'm 60, when I'm 80? And I was like, okay, no, that's it. Like, I'm just going to do it now. Like 40 is going to be better than 30. That was my goal.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you something to the audience to paint the picture of how we met. So Theresa joined our program for our shorter program that is like a trial. You join for 4 weeks. You learn about our method, how we coach. You learn our app. You learn how to track macros. You start modifying your behaviors just for those 4 weeks. And then you have excellent results and you just continue. So I just coach you for the 4 weeks, just a little bit. And then Kausar was the one who had the pleasure to coach her. So tell me, how did you find us? How did you explore other options before joining BFF?
I was just doom scrolling on Instagram. I wasn't even actively Googling like how to lose weight. And I think Kausar came up on my social media because she was like a monthly moderator for the Jersey City Moms group. And the things that she said just super resonated with me. And she was like, okay, you're a busy working mom. You've got 2 kids and you don't have time and you're over 40. Did you know you were in perimenopause? I was like, and then through her, I found your Instagram and then just following your stories, like I felt so seen. Like I just felt like, oh, okay, there's other moms who've had kids who are now in their 40s and whatever they did in their 30s and 20s, it's like, it's not working. And I remember one story that really was the thing that like made me DM you and ask you about the program. Because you were talking about how you were making dinner for your family. And you're like, you think I have time to go buy vegetables? Do you think I have time to go chop veggies? Like these are frozen veggies like from Costco or something. And I was like, oh, this is my spirit animal. Like, oh, okay, she gets it. Like she understands. So I just felt so seen from your Instagram. And the things that you guys were talking about were just like, And so here I was thinking like, okay, I don't know, am I going to do Ozempic? Am I going to go do like surgery or something? Like, what am I going to do? And the thing that you guys were talking about just really resonated with me. And so I was just like, okay, like I'm going to raise my hand, I'm going to try, and I'm just going to like commit and give myself over to the process.
Oh my God. And you did.
Yeah.
You did. So in the first 4 weeks, tell me, how do you feel learning about everything? Because you are literally a student level. You were at level 0. You didn't know anything about macros, proteins, carbs, fats, nothing. So what did you learn? What was your first aha moment during the program? How did you feel? Like, tell me, how was that theory at the beginning and how do you feel now?
Well, I think there's so much to say. I think I waited so long about learning about nutrition and stuff like that I didn't want to be one of those people who had to weigh out every single meal. Like, I'm like, I don't know if that's good for my mental health. I don't know if I want to live that kind of a lifestyle. And then I realized, okay, you just need to learn your portion sizes. And going back to my like finance hat, if you don't have data, you can't make decisions. And the first day of the program, I ate a regular day, like how I would eat before I started. And I thought I was eating healthy. Like I had a breakfast wrap, I had a salad for lunch, I had rice, pork, veggies for dinner, and I think I had a latte, and I treated myself to a scoop of ice cream at the end of the day. And I didn't think
That sounds pretty good.
yeah, not too bad. To the app, and I was like double the calories I was supposed to. That I was doubled my calories for my weight loss goal. I like doubled the carbs. I doubled the fat.
Double.
Yeah, and I just didn't. I was, I guess I really need to read the labels. But even if I had read the labels before, I wouldn't have understood what they meant. And I just realized I was like, when it comes to finance and money, like I have this idea of what's reasonable and what's not reasonable. But when it comes to food, I had no idea. You order like a latte or like a milkshake and they're like 500 calories. You're like, great, cool. Like I didn't know what that meant. So I think my first aha moment was you really do have to track. But I will say take heart because the tracking isn't forever because by the end of the program, well, it was really funny. I was really good at weighing out and estimating portions. Because I was like 4 ounces of chicken, bam! Like I didn't even need the. It
was your personal challenge.
Yeah. I just knew. I was like, okay, that looks like. Oh, I'm on. Okay. So I think you got to track everything at the beginning. If you're going to start the journey, commit. Do what your coaches tell you. Just commit to the process and know that it's not forever. It's for you to hit your goal weight, to hit your maintenance calories and macros. It's to learn how to portion.
That is so powerful. There are two things that you mentioned that I get in my DMs all the time. It's like weighing your food is obsessive. That might be bad for your mental health. But again, if you want to become a millionaire, how are you going to become a millionaire if you're not checking your account, your bank account? Similar, when you have a goal, you cannot change what you don't measure. If you don't measure anything, how do you know you're going to change? What are you going to change? In my case, I remember when I started tracking, for me, I was always over my fats. And I was scared of carbs. I wasn't eating a lot of carbs, but I was always going over my fat. Why? Because I was consuming coconut oil, coconut everything, almond flour, nuts, because that is very healthy, avocado, like a lot of avocado. So that is one thing that you realize that actually just knowing by measuring is a good thing to do. And the second thing that you mentioned is that seeing as a game, right? Like just enjoying this journey. Because people say, I don't want to measure and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. But I always tell you guys, if you see it as a game, it's, let me see how can I fit the things that I like here and just being successful at it. I don't know. For me, it's like a little victory every day. Now, because you have measured so many times, that for you, no, that is not going to be enough protein for me. That is not enough fiber for me. So that is powerful. And the other thing that you mentioned, you don't have to measure your foods forever.
Yeah.
This is just a tool.
Yeah.
Tracking macros is not a diet. It's just a tool for you to learn your portions. And I think that was beautiful.
You said it. I felt like every morning I was playing a Sudoku, and I was like, okay, first you got to get your protein in, then you get your fiber in, and then by the time I got my protein and my fiber, like everything else just fell into place. Like it was very easy to slot everything else in, and I never felt like I was giving anything up. So, for example, I would get up in the morning and I would plan my day, and I'd be like, oh my god, I really want a slice of pizza, I really want a burger or something, and it's okay, you can have it if you want. Like you put it in, and you structure the rest of the day around it. And then I was like, if I didn't have that burger and fries, I could have a really nice steak for lunch. Then I could have like my Greek yogurt dessert bar. I could have 2 cups of popcorn. And then it wasn't like, oh, I gave up a burger. I was like, it's better.
How are we going to feed the burger here?
Yeah, it was more like, it's way better value to just eat all these other things and not just forego the burger. And then I don't even like crave it anymore. Like I don't miss it anymore. So it was very powerful.
Oh my God. That is the best. So you can feed your ice cream, your burger, everything. And I think that is important to say because people don't believe me in Instagram. They say you can eat your favorite foods and you can lose body fat. And they're like, sure. But it's really true when you learn the method. So tell me, where's your family from?
My parents are from Hong Kong in China, but I grew up in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you include your favorite traditional foods in your meals?
When we went back home for Christmas, we ate out like Chinese food all the time. And I will say Chinese food, we ate, there was a lot of rice and noodles. So it's a little hard if you're trying to really portion out your carbs. But I was just more conscious about it. I was like, I'm going to have more of the protein and try to eat as much vegetables as I can. And I'll have like just maybe a small bowl of the fried rice or whatnot. So yeah, I never gave it up.
So for the besties in the back, Theresa, should we give up rice?
No.
should we give up noodles?
No.
Did you see? And you lost 21 pounds by eating your rice and noodles.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? So we just said that you lost 21 pounds. Besides the physical appearance, how else this transformation has impacted your life, your relationships, the way you manage your house, because you are the manager of your house, right?
Yeah.
Your kids, your 2 little kids.
I started this journey for me. I started this journey to lose weight. And I would say do the same thing. Start the journey for you. But you will find along the way that, yes, I lost 21 pounds, but I actually learned so much about health and nutrition. And then it spilled over to my husband. And my husband was super supportive. And I think at the beginning, he said to me, like, don't get discouraged. Like, maybe you'll lose 5 pounds. Like, it'll be really good if you lose 5 pounds. Don't get discouraged. And it wasn't like he was trying to keep me down, but he didn't want me to be, like, disappointed.
He's a keeper.
He's a keeper. He's amazing. And then kind of like a month in, he was like, what are you eating? And then, like, as we went, I'd be like, okay, we're going to get takeout. Did you want pizza? What are you going to eat? Give me what you're getting. So like now his jeans are fitting nicer too.
So,
I noticed.
Hot couple in Jersey City.
Yes. But the biggest change of all was that it impacted my children. And I wasn't expecting that. So my son, he's 4 years old, extremely picky eater. I would describe his diet, like before I started, as like carb-centric, to the point where I was like, oh my God, are you going to be diabetic? Please eat something green. Please eat some protein. And he was just very, no, I don't want spaghetti. And then they saw mommy like measuring out her food. They saw mommy making her plate. And then they started asking for what I had. And the questions I was getting at dinner were so cute. Like my daughter was like, is this protein? Is this protein? Is this protein? Is this protein? And then my son would be like, don't forget the veggies. I don't know, just by being the model, like they're understanding, they're getting educated about proper portioning on a plate, and they're leading a healthier lifestyle. So, start the journey for yourself, but don't be afraid if it positively impacts your family too and your loved ones.
Like, I'm going to cry right now. Like, I just imagine your 2 little kids just helping you too in the journey, because I know that sometimes they want to eat mac and cheese or they want to eat pizza. Moms are like, oh, but it smells so good. You don't have to deprive. You can eat the mac and cheese, you can eat the pizza, but also you can teach them how is the right way to eat, which is like everything fits in one plate. Mm-hmm. And I get a little bit upset when we go to restaurants and kids have a different menu than us. I think it's only in the United States that we have different menus. In my country, we don't have different menus. Like we eat the same thing. And in Europe, I know French families, they just eat whatever it is served. So now that we know how is the right way to eat, everyone can eat the same, because this is not a diet, it's the right way to eat.
Yeah. I will say my kids, they didn't notice that I lost weight. To credit my 6-year-old daughter, she's like, you look the same. But they were like, oh, but we want to be healthy. So,
and it's strong.
Yeah.
And it's strong.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful.
So, you know what? Even if I had lost like 0 pounds, I'm really proud of what we accomplished as a family.
That was a tremendous gift to them, because we don't want them to suffer the same that we suffered. Mm-hmm. When you see your kid having a tantrum, more probably they're having cravings. Same, like sometimes we're like, with the hormones, and if we're not eating right, we feel moody. The same thing happened to your kids. So when you see them...
I notice this because I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you give your kid a snack and 30 minutes later they want another snack and you're like, no, wait till dinner. And then you made an Instagram story about never eating a naked carb, which is, I was like, oh yeah, I understand. Because you should never just eat a carb on its own, like pair it with some protein, which is better for your blood sugar. That naked carbs are really sexy and they're really attractive. You want to just eat a naked carb, but don't do that.
Yes, exactly. It's true. That happened to me too in my journey. I love bananas. And it was a little bit disappointing when I was like, oh, this is spiking my blood sugar. And it's, I don't have to. I just dress it with almond butter and we're good to go. But yeah, that's what happens to our kids. So if they are always snacking, going to the cabinet where the chips are, the cookies, and you're like, oh, that is bad food. First of all, important to use language and words. There is no bad food or good foods. It's just food. It's like, why they're eating too much carbs and they're always cranky, moody, they cannot sleep. More probably because they're not eating the protein.
No, it's crazy. Just add a little protein to the snack and they'll go away. Like they won't keep coming back.
That's true. That's true. Isn't for you, when I was checking your food logs and your story in our app, the whole process? It seemed for you very seamless. However, we know there were some challenges.
It was hard at the beginning until you figure out how to crack the Sudoku puzzle. You kind of trial and error a bit, and some days you do really well and some days you fail, and that can be a little bit demoralizing. But you guys were really big about, as our coaches, progress, not perfection. And that really stuck with me. So if you think about the progress piece first, the changes that I made were so small. Like I added an afternoon walk to help get to 10,000 steps. I worked out 3 times a week, only for 20 minutes. So not 2 hours every day in the gym, like just 3 times a week for 20 minutes. And then in terms of the food, yes, I was weighing out my food at the beginning, but it was like really simple substitutions that made a huge difference. Just add more cottage cheese, use egg whites, like small things. And you're like, oh, so using almond milk in my latte. Like I think I lost like 10 pounds just from switching to almond milk. So at the beginning, like it's really easy to feel discouraged, but don't feel discouraged. Just stick it out. And you know, a little changes, you think they're not going to do anything for you, but then like just watch. Cause like 21 pounds later, you're like, oh, okay, I added some more steps and like this all added up. And then on the not perfection piece, you know, when I went back home to Toronto for the holidays, I was like really nervous because I had my systems at home. I had my milk and my egg whites. And when I was back in Toronto, like we were always eating out, like I wouldn't have as much control. And that was okay. And at the end of the day, I think I maybe gained like a pound or 2, but then I came back and got back to it. And then I continued my weight loss journey. Aim for little small progress and don't worry about perfection.
Yeah, and don't worry about traveling because you have those habits ingrained in your portion. So you're going to come back and you're going to come back to your original weight. That's good. Tell me about your family. So did you have to cook different things or all of you were eating the same thing? Because that is one of the most common questions I get is I don't want to be cooking 4 different meals.
So at the beginning, I was still trying to figure out what I was eating. So I don't know. I made like one meal for them and I made something separate for myself. By the end of it, that was it. You're eating what I'm eating. And meal prepping, you guys are very big about meal prepping, but it's true. If you don't prepare, plan to fail. Oh, if you fail to plan to fail.
Exactly.
That's what you guys say.
Yes.
So for a family of 4, it just didn't work for me to pre-portion all the portions in the little Tupperware. Like my fridge wouldn't accommodate that. But I would make big batches of protein and have all my veggies prepped. So, you know, you're really tired. It's the end of the day. You've worked all day. You've got the kids. They're cranky. They're like, they want to eat. And it's really nice to have everything pre-made. So all I'm doing is just assembling plates. So yes, by the end of it, we were all eating the same thing. It was like one meal prep on Sunday, which was a little reheating during the week.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. In my case, I'm the only pescatarian in the family, mostly plant-based. So that's what I do. I just change the protein and then the rest is the same salad, the same veggies, the same rice. I think that is a way to, it's sustainable. That's why following maybe a meal plan, it is not, because then you get tired of the same foods all the time. Mm-hmm. It's not your foods, right?
Yeah.
You prepared your own meals?
Yeah. I think I don't know, people ask me what I cook and I would say maybe like Americanized Chinese, sort of. I don't know. It's like a
fusion.
Yeah,
that is super fine. Yeah.
A fusion which reflects our family.
Yeah. How many pounds did you want to lose at the beginning?
At the beginning, I thought it would be amazing if I lost 5.
5 pounds.
I realistically thought I was going to lose 5, but I put 10 as a stretch goal.
Yeah.
And then I lost like 21.
21.
And I think at the beginning, I was chasing the number on the scale. Mm-hmm. So I think if you were to say like, what's in the next phase in my journey for now, I want to chase the number on the bench. I would listen to your podcast and you guys inspired me.
Oh my God. Oh my. Well, but you did it amazingly because first you changed your habits, you learned the nutrition portion, and now you can just all the attention in the weight and just continue to do that because now you know how to eat.
Yeah. But I didn't need a scale to tell me, like, I could just feel like I felt better. And then, like, I think I dropped like 2 dress sizes or something. So, oh my goodness, buying the new clothes, like when you're a mom with like a newborn and you put yourself last, like dressing is the last thing on your mind. I think everything I bought was basically a tent. And now, you know, I went back home for Christmas and my friends were pulling me aside and they're like, are you on the Ozempic? What did you tell me? Like, what you do? Yeah.
Yeah, the Ozempic, our Ozempic BFF. BFF Ozempic.
Yeah, well, I guess because I made really small changes, but I got a lot of results in a relatively short amount of time, like 6 months. So my family were just like,
they were impressed with your progress. Doesn't
when your Asian mother-in-law who won't be shy about saying, hey, have you gained some weight? It was just like, you lost a lot of weight. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yes, that is what we needed.
Yeah, I know.
Her approval, right?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so funny. It's like Latina moms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they will tell you the
they'll
truth.
tell you. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me something. If you could speak to Theresa 6 months ago, what would you tell her?
Oh my God. Okay. Theresa from 6 months ago. I am so proud of you. First of all, I'm just really proud of you for acknowledging that you needed help and that you were willing to raise your hand and ask for help. Because I feel like as women, as mothers, there's like a lot of pressure to not be able to say, I got this. Like it's almost like a mini failure. But you know what, Theresa, like you're not a trained nutritionist and you're not a trained personal trainer. So like, why should you know how to do this? So I'm really proud of you for asking for help, and it's going to be amazing. And you are, little small steps, and you're going to be so proud of like the results that you achieve in a really short amount of time.
Yeah. So beautiful. We're so proud of you too. You know that. Okay, so what would you tell our besties who are listening? What type of advice do you think they need right now that they may be in the same position that Theresa was 6 months ago?
Okay. First of all, you're doing a great job. And you can do it. Like, you can do this. Like, if I can do this, you can do this. And just commit. Just give yourself a time frame. Like, you know what? Let me just try. Let me try for 4 weeks. Let me try for 3 months. Let me try for 6 months. Whatever your goal is, just give yourself over to the process and just really commit to it. Buy in. Do the things that they tell you. You gotta track your macros. You gotta weigh that chicken breast at the beginning. You gotta do the workouts and embrace the cardio. But just like, give yourself a shot, invest in yourself, and just commit to the process for a little bit. And you will be so amazed with the results that you're going to get.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And lastly, what was the thing that you enjoy most about our program?
I enjoyed the fact that I wasn't starving because I thought I was going to be hungry and miserable. I enjoyed the fact that you guys encouraged me to eat my foods and plan those, fun snacks in there. And I think that one thing you guys really said to me, or I think Kowsar said it to me, was there's no cheat days. Don't label it as cheating. You're not cheating. You deserve it. You deserve to have, whatever you want. So if you have a day where you indulge, that's fine. Like, come back, be mindful. And so it was so supportive, like such a supportive group of women. So funny. It was like every comment I lost, everyone was like, on the chat. And you're like, well, thank you. And then in turn being supportive to other women. So it's really funny when I see people's results also that were like started the program with me, and I'm like, oh, like you look so hot in that photo, like yes. So
because you know what it means, right?
Yes,
to be there. Oh, excellent. Oh my God. Well, so we're so proud of you.
Oh,
thank you so much for coming. And I can't wait to see how much you're lifting every month.
Okay.
How those muscles are going to start popping up. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for everything. You guys have been amazing. And like, thank you for giving me hope when I just like didn't even think I could do this. Oh, congratulations on an amazing first season, you guys.
Oh my God. Yeah. So after spring break, we're launching our second season. So we are closing the first season of the podcast with Theresa, our besties. And well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for listening. And remember that in our notes, I'm going to give you a link where you can book your free call if you are interested on doing the program with us and eat rice, noodles, and lose 21 pounds like Theresa did. Okay, thank you so much and see you in the next season.